What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 6th day of September, and here we are with about 22 hours left in the day. $110.8 thousand is the price, and we had a very bearish close to yesterday's candle there. A lot of volume came in, but a very bearish close indeed. That makes me think that we're going to go lower. I mean, typically whenever we get candles like that, that does provide the idea that we do go lower, right? Maybe not dramatically lower, but again, the idea here is that we're in this kind of downtrend and we will slowly approach $106 to $104,000 and maybe even a little bit below there. It's very possible. Sometime next week, and perhaps recover. And then going into the 16th, 17th, maybe going into it, we pump up a little bit. But overall, I'd expect they're at lower prices by then. But going into the 16th, 17th, we should be at our low area, if not continuing to go lower. And then after the FOMC meeting on the 16th, 17th, really, would it be on the 16th or the 17th? They make the announcement on the 17th. They have the meeting on the 16th. So 17th, we would then continue to grow, okay? And I think the end of September is going to be glorious. I really do. I think that by the end of September, we truly could be at new all-time highs. Remember, you guys, back here, we were at a low price. I mean, hell, even back here, it was July 2nd to this high point. This low point here on July 2nd, it's not the low itself, but it's just like this relative low point in this consolidation phase. This low point here, $105,000 to the high point there, July 14th. July 2nd to July 14th, you guys, that was 12 days, less than 2 weeks, 123K from 105K, okay? We could absolutely do the same thing again. Right? If the FOMC meeting's on the 17th, 12 days from then, less than 2 weeks, that would be the 29th, right? By the 29th, we could be all the way back at all-time highs, maybe add even new all-time highs by the end of the month. We could really see a more powerful move than we did last time. Again, doing this kind of stuff, you typically do move up faster than you did the first time around. But that doesn't mean you have to. Sometimes, you know, you do meander, you find resistance at prior areas of support and all that stuff. You know, this is a bit different, I suppose, in the context that this was being new all-time highs. So you did have a nice breakout where here we're retracing that. So in that context, maybe we do have a harder time moving up. But I'm just saying we've done it before. We could absolutely do it again. And by the end of this month, we could be all the way up there. I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, even in the short term. But in the immediate term, like over the coming days, over the next maybe like week or so, I'd be a little bit bearish. I do think that we're going to go down. We're probably going to see lower prices than this. Again, if we take a low here to a high here, we'll see 105.6 to 103.6K, somewhere in that zone, presuming that high upholds. Let's see. 1 hour time frame here. Looking at it, the RSI is bullish at the moment, honestly. Overbought, bouncing off the 40, that's bullish, but I don't like the rejection off the 50, and we're still down here at the 40, right? That's not a good look in itself. So that makes me think, man, I think I got bit on the foot by a mosquito. I think I got bit on the foot. Anyways, damn mosquitoes, man. Stochastics are bearish. The MACD is also bearish, crossing below the zero line there with your oscillators. So, I mean, the last time that you did that, you went lower. The time before, whenever you did that, you went lower. I would think that we go lower here, okay? People are still holding out. I think a lot of people were assuming that we'd come back up, that, okay, that was just a shakeout, now we're going to move back up. But I think reality's starting to set in that, hey, this is a big old bearish candle in your face. There's more to come, okay? There's more to come. And I'm actually kind of curious. Oh, I was looking at some other metrics. Let's look at CoinGlass here. Man, I don't think it is a mosquito. My foot just itches because I don't feel a mosquito bite. Let's see. Let's see here. Something else, though, to kind of signal that we're not at a topping point, right? These other topping points that we've had this cycle, Binance USDT margin, borrow, interest rate, historical chart, right? This dates back to August of 2023. Look at how high the annualized interest rate was here, okay? And look at how long we consolidated for. We consolidated for so long. You guys, that was from March 2024 all the way until September 2024 that we started to move back up again, right? And even really then, October. It was a very long time, okay? Long consolidation. Here, look at how high the interest rates were. Look at how long we consolidated for. It was like December 2024, and we didn't move up until April, okay? We're not in that same phase now. We're absolutely going to move up. This is not going to be one of those long-lived consolidation phases like we've seen, but it is longer than initially anticipated. You know, July to September is still pretty long, but it's not nearly as long as these. We didn't have the interest rates come up that much, right? So I'm just saying, I was looking at this, and both of these spikes correlated directly with the relative high points before we corrected for a very, very long amount of time. We're correcting here. They're relative high points, but they're not nearly as high as this. Anyways, I'm getting on a whole different topic. I wanted to pull up the liquidation map. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Getting all distracted. I actually meant to talk about this in another video, but I so many things, right? So many things. 1 day time frame. More shorts piled on than longs, of course. With that kind of day, you would assume. Over the 7 days, longs are still piled on. In fact, there's a ton of longs piled on, you guys. They're about to get creamed. 106K or below, we clear out about $7 billion of longs, guys. This island of longs, this kind of safe haven of longs, gets cleared out at about 104K. So lower we go. Over the past 30 days, we've amounted a very large stack of shorts, but there's still a large amount of longs as well. We're probably going to achieve greater than $20 billion in shorts. A lot of these longs will get cleared out, piled onto the shorts, or flip over to shorts. And once we have that, once we're at that over, I would even guess over $21 billion shorts in a 30-day period, that'll probably mark. And then these longs are, right now they're at about $8 billion. Once they're less than like $3 billion over a 30-day period, or at least over like under $5 billion over a 30-day period, I would think that at that point we probably do turn around, okay? But we've got to clear out some of these. We don't have to, but I would think that we do. And again, a lot of these clear out at about $105,000 to $104,000, $106,000 to $104,000. Again, so just the idea here that we do go lower. Let's move on to the 4-hour time frame. Right, bearish implications on all of those, except for the RSI. The RSI didn't look bad. Here on the 4-hour, this doesn't look good. It looks nice that you got overbought and you didn't get oversold, but you couldn't get overbought. That's a sign of weakness in itself, right? Let's just see if I can find an example of this, right? Here you are, you're getting overbought, you're staying out of the oversold zone, la-di-da, you're doing your thing, but now you reject it. What's that mean? That means you go down, right? We really started to go down there, but let's see here. If we're looking at this on the 4-hour RSI, I would think that we have lower to go. This rejection off of this area might have the same results as this area here. You bounced off the 50 a little bit, but then you inevitably went lower, and I think that's what we're doing here. We're just opening up the day on a green note. MACD does have bearish divergence. We have lower highs here, lower highs in the histogram and the oscillator. We have higher highs in the price. Bearish divergence. Volumes building as we're coming down. It makes sense that we'd go lower. If we're looking at this on the daily time frame, let's see. We did reject the 50 area, which Bitcoin typically, finds support or resistance around this area. It doesn't have to be right off that line. It can be around the area. And again, just looking at the daily time frame here, we've gone over this every day now for probably like the past 4 days. But when you found support here, it was a nice move up. When you found support here, it was a nice move up. When you found support here, it was a nice move up, nice move up, nice move up. Here, where's your nice moves? Where are they? You're just squiggly wiggly all over here, right? You're doing a little dance. You're making a little love, and you might just get down tonight. Bow, 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 bow. You're going to go down. You're probably going to go down. You're probably going to see this thing in the oversold zone, around there, maybe even in the oversold zone. But I think we have lower to go. And again, that would directly correlate with just the pace that we normally see, however it happens, whether it's fast, whether it's slow. That would directly correlate with this kind of 16th, 17th time frame in September right here, okay? I am expecting that we bottom out before the FOMC meeting, and I think we'll kind of lag. We'll find support. I bet that we find support sometime next week. We have a nice bounce, and then going into the FOMC meeting, we're probably at our higher low, and then we start to rip afterwards, okay? The end of the month should be bullish. I don't really have anything else that I want to say other than that. Shout out to all the haters. I think it's funny, right? I got some people that they truly think, I don't know if they truly think that I'm wrong, right? And it doesn't matter. First off, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It matters if you're making money. That's really what matters, right? You could be right 9 times out of 10, but if you're leverage trading, if you're trading and you're right 9 times out of 10, but then that one time you're wrong, you lose money, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're wrong 9 times out of 10, but you're making money, and that one time you're right, it makes up for all your losses, it doesn't matter, man. It just matters if you're making money. But for the haters who say I'm wrong, I really don't get it, man, because, called this top. I actually did call this top pretty well as well. Called that top perfectly. I literally closed my long at the top at like $120,000, man. And but anyways, we called that top right there 121K. I remember 121K went to 123K. My bad, whatever. We called this top very, very well. I called support. I called for us to bounce right at 113.1K. I remember that was the low. We went a little bit lower. We had the bounce, and then once we came back down to about 112.8K or something like that, it was right below where I called for the low. That's where we flipped bearish. We haven't changed that position since. We've been bearish ever since. And I even remember calling for us to move up a little bit here, saying that we could go to, I think, as high as 114K, but not to be swayed by that, because we'd be finding resistance at this area, right? We were down here talking about this channel, and I remember saying that we would come up probably to prolong this kind of slow bleed down into the FOMC meeting. I said that we'd dump starting off September, and we did pump a little bit, right? But we're going to move down, and we're still in the beginning of September now. So I guess in that sense it's wrong. But back here, I do remember saying we were at the bottom of this channel. We're probably going to move up. And even if we go above 114K, don't be wooed by this. We're probably still going to come down. We're just going to have a slow bleed down. And I remember saying we'd probably break above this. I don't normally say this, but again, just for the people out there who are thinking that I'm wrong, first off, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. And I am wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. I was wrong here. I was definitely wrong here. But overall, like if we're trading based off my calls, you're definitely in the profits if you're paying attention, right? We're absolutely in the profits. We've been killing it, man. But if you think that I'm wrong, just go back and watch my last 10 Bitcoin videos. Look at them. I bet that you'll see, not that it matters, again, not that it matters, but I bet you'll see like a 7 out of 10 win rate, right? We're pretty damn accurate, and that's because of the analysis that we formulated here. It's out of the technical skills that I've cultivated within myself over the last 10 years of doing technical analysis. I really do think that these trolls just think that it's funny, and that's fine. That's fine. But if you genuinely think that I'm wrong more often than I'm right, you haven't been paying attention. You need to watch the videos. I'm going off on this way too often, or way too much right now, man. I should probably just end it there. So hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.